Right, yeah, so welcome everybody. If you've not been here before, we're just doing a live match reaction to Blackpool versus Rotherham last night. Disappointing. I did say I don't like coming on when I'm disappointed and I don't really want to moan. I could call this the Wednesday whinge, perhaps. There's lots of things that's bugging me at the moment a little bit, and I'm sure they're bugging you as well. I just need to know if anybody's here. I'm getting no messages at all at the moment, so I'll wait for you all to come into the stream. Rob Wozencroft is here. Hopefully you'll get back to the Championship soon, the Sky Blue Army. I don't think we will, Rob, if I'm being honest. We haven't got the ambition. I'm just talking about it now. We've let 3 strikers go in January. So Don Ballard went back to Southampton. We sold Kyle Joseph to Hull. And then on the last day, or the second to last day, I think maybe, we let Jordan Rhodes go to Mansfield. And we're playing Mansfield on Saturday. So we lost three strikers. And we brought 1 striker in Niall Ennis. We brought another player in called Tom Bloxham from Shrewsbury, who, not really a striker, he's more a winger, but he can play as a striker. And he was looking very tricky and very good. And he had us all excited. And what's happened? He's got injured. He's injured. And the rumours are between 2 and 4 weeks he's going to be out. At the most crucial time, if we're going to do anything these next 2 to 4 weeks, we needed Tom Bloxham in because he has really made a difference. But it's almost as if the football gods punish you when you don't have ambition. And just signing Tom Bloxham and thinking that's it, business done, we don't need anybody else, we're fine. The football gods will bite you, and they have. He's got injured already, so when he'll be back? Some people said he didn't even get injured in training. He got injured in moving house. Somebody said, did he borrow Jordan Gabriel's stool while he was doing it? Because it's just an injury, but it's like, how? Yeah, he's played for Shrewsbury all season. He's not got injured. Comes here, he's injured. Yeah, see, I'm just saying that, actually. I should have read your comment before I started ranting on. Hi, Lee, hope you're okay. Didn't go last night, but missed Baroxham big style. Hope we can sign Baggett in summer as his contract is up. Well, I don't have a lot of hope in it, to be honest. I don't have any hope. I mean, a lot of people are saying things like, oh, well, we can't, we're not going to do anything now. Well, summer's the important time and they've got to back Bruce, and then we'll be great next season. But to me, there's no guarantees. There's just no guarantees that he's going to back Bruce in the summer. He never does. Yeah, Conor Ross, it's scary how bad we look without Bloxham. Well, indeed, indeed, we did look really bad. I mean, we didn't start with Apter as well, and we look better with Apter on. But again, Apter comes on, and he will. If they can sort his crosses out, he will go for more money than we've ever sold a player before. He is so exciting. He takes them on. They don't know which way he's going to go, inside, outside. He gets himself into really good positions. He gets round the man. He beats the man. He either beats him inside, he beats him on the outside. He gets into the box, and then he just flubs the cross all the time. So many times he just puts a cross to nowhere. He's either too big, he puts it straight into the goalie's hands, or he doesn't find a man. He just puts it straight to a Rotherham player every time. I just think, for God's sake, And then when he does do the whole thing and then pass the ball and find a player on the edge of the box, somehow, Rotherham last night managed to get a block in. I was looking at the stats, actually. I was looking at the stats earlier on FOCMOB, and this is the problem, I think. I mean, it's right here, staring you blue in the face. Right, so last night, Blackpool, 49% possession. Rotherham, 51% possession. So more or less even Stevens. Total shots. Blackpool, 17 shots. Right? I mean, we'd have dreamt of that last year, wouldn't we? We watched them with Critchley and we'd have 1 shot or even no shots in some games. And the whole game. Last night we had 17 shots. Rotherham also had 17 shots. So, pretty even Stevens game. Yeah. So it should be 0-0. But then you look, shots on target. Blackpool take 17. 3 out of 17 shots on target. Rotherham, 8. Big chances. Rotherham had one big chance. I'm not quite sure which one it was, but might have been I thought they had a few more, actually, big chances, because we pulled off Tyra pulled off 3 wonder saves, didn't he? We didn't miss any big chances. They did. Everything else, 2 offsides. We stayed onside last night. They had more corners than us. But yeah, that's it. 17 shots. Only 3 of those 17 shots on target. And that's the problem. If we can't get them on target, they don't go in. Conor Owen says Simon won't spend the Joseph money just like he didn't with the Yates or the Critch, or the Dougal, the Grimshaw or the Bowler money. That's it, innit? We know we got 6 million for Bowler, don't we? I mean, that's like common knowledge. So where did that go? Grimshaw money, like you say. Jerry Yates, we got money for him and Joseph, and we've made, if we are to believe it's true, over £2 million on Joseph. So ambition, 300,000 on Bloxham, and that's good. I mean, that's good, but we needed a couple more of those. The other thing that annoys me as well is, why can we not maybe look at signing players in January who we could get, and who we could get is maybe somebody in National League North, just one division lower, or maybe even League Two we could look at, but somebody who's scoring goals and is on fire and will come to us. Because I know we've got this Ennis, and he looks a good player, but when you looked on the Stoke message boards, all the Stoke fans, had heard that we Blackpool were in for him, and they were all like, "Oh, I'll drive him there myself. I'll drive him to Blackpool. Please God, let him go." There was hardly any. Well, there was nobody that said he's great, and I think he is a decent player, but he's a decent player, out of form, out of favour, not playing very well, and we're hoping to sign him, and he comes to Blackpool and he turns into a world beater. I'd have rather us found a guy in non-league that's absolutely on fire, rather than that. I just think it's worth a chance sometimes to actually buy a player that's like mega in form. Bloxham was playing really well. We saw him on New Year's Day, and he's come here and he looked as good for us as he did then. But both of these players, Sammy Silvera and Niall Ennis, both, have not been getting games, not been doing anything great, have not been ripping up trees. The fans don't like them, are on the back. And we're bringing him here, and we're hoping that they're going to become something special. And I don't think that's good. Eugene thinks we'll get back to winning ways. Well, we may get back to winning ways, Eugene, on Saturday, because I'm not going. I can't go. I've got a disco, I've got a wedding to do, and I've got to get there for 3 o'clock to set up for 4:30. So I've no chance. So I won't be there on Saturday. Joe Bottomley, hello Joe. Tyra was very good last night. Yeah, he was, and he kept us in the game. Yes, he did. Unfortunately, Fletcher seemed back to his worst. Unfortunately, CJ seems to be in bad form. I thought the way the front players of Rotherham showed how to bully defenders. Well, yeah, it wasn't it. It was just both Beasley and Fletcher playing away where they look like they're trying to get to the ball and they just don't get there. And they just let the defender get in front of them, and they just don't quite make it, and they just don't quite tackle, and they just don't get themselves in front to get the ball. And they do it all the time. It's as if they don't really want to risk something, so they just kind of look like they're trying, but don't really try. And it's got to be really on a plate to them with plenty of time, because if there's somebody that they've got to take the ball off and they've got to go in on a tackle, they don't go in very often. And I think it's just 2 players playing exactly the same. And if those are the 2 big strikers that we've got left, and we're depending on those 2, and also when you think about Beasley, he's a sick note, isn't he? I mean, he's been injured for so long. I mean, he's probably worried about redoing his injury, so he probably, mentally probably doesn't want to go in too hard. But can we rely on Beasley staying fit to the end of the season? So if he gets injured, and honestly, I said to Pickle last night, there's a Blackpool player goes off the pitch every match injured. Every match we have an injury. We're not just a substitution, we're always replacing somebody. It's very rare we get through a game where somebody doesn't go off injured. And losing Casey again last night, if Beasley gets injured, we're down to just Fletcher. I cannot believe, and I don't know what you think, but to get rid of 3 strikers and only bring Ennis in, we've no chance. Conor Ryan says, yes, Apps crossing the ball might be the most frustrating thing I've ever seen. Yeah, for me too. He just does it for the sake of it, always to the back post. He crossed the ball 11 times last night in 30 minutes. Outrageous. Yep, he crosses and they never find a man, do they? They're very rarely. And if they do, by some miracle, find somebody, they always get a block in. But most of the time, he did it a couple of times in the game at Burton Albion, where he just put a cross, just floated it straight to the keeper. But it's not even the fact that like he's putting a cross in that he floats the keeper, but he's done all the hard work. He's done unbelievable to get himself to a position where he can just put a lovely ball to somebody and he floats it straight into the keeper, or he knocks it way too far. And I don't know what they practice with him, because the rest of his game, he doesn't need to practice it. He's brilliant at it. You know, he's got this amazing sense of balance. He's jinking in and out. You don't know if he's going inside, outside. It's really exciting, but I don't get excited because I just know he's not going to find a player, and it just drives me mad. Conor Owen says, Tyra was phenomenal. Kept us in the game, simple as. Way too overrated or underrated, you mean? Very good for a young keeper. Scary how our best 3 players right now, Afire, Baggett and Tyra, are all loans. Well, we get this every year. Well, this is like every year our favourite players, you know, are on loan, and we lose them. And we normally make songs for them. We haven't made songs for these, which is rare, but we haven't made songs for them. But yeah, Baggett looks quality. I mean, we look good defensively, but at times we don't look good defensively. And I just don't think we ever have an out ball. You know, we don't keep somebody up, especially, and for corners especially. You know, Rotherham did it. They just kept one man up, and that, you know, you've got to leave 2 men back, and they seem to find him at ease, and we just have nobody up. Yeah, we need a good goal poacher like Yates or Rose, but we needed him now. I mean, you know, we've watched Jerry Yates for years, and he was fearless, wasn't he? He was really, really fearless, Yates. He used to dispossess, you know, and Lavery. Lavery would bust a gut. You know, the only thing with Lavery, he was injury prone, and it's a shame, really, because he really would bust a gut to get that ball. And Jerry Yates he'd do everything to get to that ball in front of the defender. And those 2 last night never got to a ball first. If it was a one-on-one, even there was a couple of times where Beasley was in front of the defender and it was his ball to get, and he just galloped along in that way he does, where he's got a lovely running stance, but he doesn't run fast. He doesn't run fast. His legs don't go fast. They go very nice, and you know, they're very Chariots of Fire-ish, but he doesn't really like bust a gut to get to the ball, and honestly, if we're relying on them 2, kiss it goodbye, honestly. It's not going to happen. We're not going to get in the playoffs. I don't think we are anyway, but I really don't think we are now. And whether Sadler didn't invest in January because he didn't believe that we were close enough to get in the playoffs, or was it a waste of money to spend money on it? But I still think we have. I don't know if you did, but I thought there was plenty of games to go in January, and I thought if we'd have just shown that bit of ambition, and once we send, you know, I mean, you can't believe, can you, when the news came through that Hull had signed Kyle Joseph for the money, rumoured 2-point-something million, and some say 2.8, rising to 4. I don't know if that's true, but when that news came through that we'd sold our best striker, you would have laid money on the fact that we'd have got somebody. We'd have got somebody. Well, we didn't get anybody. We could have probably got, you know, one from League 2 and one from National League North, who are both on fire, and probably for less than about 400,000 for the 2. Conor Owen says Beasley and Fletcher will never ever work because they're virtually the same player. Yeah, for Strike Force, you need to come. You need two completely different players. Yeah, two completely different players. Yeah. I thought, I'd said, let me just have a drink of water. I'd said to Pickle last night, we were discussing it and said, what would you do? And I said, well, I would take either Beasley or Fletcher off. And I said, I'm not really bothered which. It was like you say, they're the same player, playing the same way. I'd have probably kept Fletcher on because he does have that ability to control the ball and pass it around. He has a bit of vision, which I don't think Beasley is that player. So I would have taken Beasley off for Niall Ennis. And then we'd have had a big man and a small man. We struggled with two big forwards, both playing exactly the same way, both doing absolutely nothing. And I thought, take one of them off. I know neither of them are playing well, but just take one off and bring Niall Ennis on, because he'll want to play with a big striker, knocking the ball down for him. And what does he do? He took both of them off. So then we went from where Blackpool have looked a big side, and managers have said, the Exeter managers said, I didn't think Blackpool were that big a side. Well, we went from a big side to a teeny, tiny, titchy side, didn't we? We brought Apter on. We brought Niall Ennis on. Who else did we bring on? I can't remember who was the other one we brought on. Oh, Evans. Evans, I don't know, is he 6 foot? I don't know if he is, but he's not what you'd say a 6 foot. So we took all our height off and had little players, and there was a couple of chances, but really there was nothing you would say that was a definite, would you, last night? Conor Owan says everything is just flat right now. I was on the North last night, and that atmosphere was probably the worst I've been in since the boycott years. Well, that's it, yeah. And without Blackpool being loud, I've said it loads of times, without the fans, without the noise being, the noise from the North rocking the stadium, have we got a drummer anymore? I don't know. Do we have a drummer? I'm not sure. If we have, it's not like it was with Oggy, is it? It was really rocking with Hoggy. In fact, I used to like the South when Hoggy was in the corner, and they used to have like Hoggy, a thing for drummer Hoggy over it. It was loud in the South then, and the drum makes a big difference. It's just not loud. It's just not loud. It was like just a morgue. I mean, you're sat in the North, but honestly, the South, I think we started to sing once in the whole second half, but there's not even a lot of people in. South's half empty, you know what I mean? I looked around. I said, we normally do the guess the attendance game. I said to Pickle, this doesn't look good. This looks about 8,000, and he said 8.5, and almost split the difference between the two of us, didn't it? It was, yeah, we are missing Joseph and his passion and desire to get the ball. Yeah, so why sell a player? I mean, I don't know if Simon Sadler watches football or understands football. He says he's been a Blackpool fan all his life, so he may not have. So, okay, he's not been the owner of a football club, and I'll give him that. But if he's a football fan, then he can look just like you can look, and I can look, and everybody can look and see that Beasley and Fletcher are not the answer. They're all right. I thought Fletcher was getting a bit of a renaissance because he was working with Bloxham, and I thought Bloxham brought him along, and Bloxham looks up and can make a pass and a nice cross into the box, and Fletcher was benefiting from that because he put them on a plate for him, didn't he, really? I mean, the goal he scored Exeter, he just put it on a plate. He couldn't have put a more perfect ball for him to score. There was nobody on him. He had no fear, no danger. He could just place it where he wanted. And it was a good goal. He could have missed it, but you know what I mean? He doesn't have that now, Fletcher. And so surely Simon Sadler, as a football fan, if he's watching the game, must be thinking, Jesus, I can't rely on this Beasley and Fletcher to get us up. I mean, we're not even safe yet, are we? Yeah, Hoggy's still there, I think, but he just doesn't care. No, I don't blame him. I don't blame him, and I've seen him with his hands all bleeding from blooming banging the drum. It's a hard thing, but
he's like everybody else. He just probably can't be bothered. I mean, I'm doing the match day vlogs, and I'm thinking, I'm walking to the match. I'm thinking, what do I say? What do I actually say as I'm walking there? Because I'm walking to the game, and I'm probably like you and everybody else. I'm walking to the match. I'm thinking, oh Jesus, it's a bloody, it's a Tuesday night. We never win on a Tuesday. We're terrible on a Tuesday. I'm thinking it's freezing bloody cold, and it really was cold walking to the ground. It wasn't blowing a gale cold, but it was really bitterly cold. And I'm thinking, I've got, I can't wear any gloves because I've got my camera and everything. So I know my hands are going to be freezing, and I'm thinking there's not going to be many there because it is freezing. There's going to be no atmosphere. It's bloody Rotherham. It's bloody Steve Evans. That's going to be another nightmare. And that's what I'm thinking to myself as I'm driving in the car. I'm thinking, so what do I say? I can't say I'm confident of a win, because I wasn't confident of a win. We've drawn 6. We don't seem to be able to cope with teams that, defend well against us and put a lot of effort into defending. And that's what everybody seems to do when they come to Blackpool. They just defend for their lives, don't they? And really, really make it hard for us. And we don't play well. We play better away from home, where the team are trying to beat us and they just leave us a bit of space. And that's why we get points away from home. But at home, I'm thinking, I'm not looking forward to this. And then I come out at the end and it's 0-0. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be up till now about 2 or 3 in the morning making a 0-0 video. That's like the worst video, the worst video you could make, really. It's just, who would want to watch it? League One 0-0 video. Pointless. Connor also thought the attendance was poor, even though we haven't won at home in a while. It was a big game and we're still unbeaten. It's just, honestly, there's a lot of problems. They've upset a lot of people. The fan engagement's, has been poor. They've made it better now. Going into the ground, I did complain on a video that they were like searching every bag as you go in the South Stand. And I'm thinking, when's the last time anybody in the South Stand ever did anything? You go and they've got to take the bottle off your bottle, the top off your bottle of water in case you'd lob it on the pitch. When was the last time you ever saw a bottle thrown on the pitch? And if you get a bottle of pop with no top on, lid on, it's so easy to kick them over, isn't it? Unless you hold the bottle all the way through the match, you put it on the floor, 9 times out of 10 you'll kick it over. So that's all your pop gone. But it is a little bit, the stewards are nicer when you go in. They're not giving me hassle anymore. I did have a bit of hassle with one of the stewards who was saying, "Oh, sorry, mate, your camera." I said, look, I just film myself. I don't film the match. I'm all right. And this other steward came out and said, "Oh yeah, it comes all the time. Don't worry." And, they let me in. There's just that little problem, but this, people have been sick of the way they have engaged with the fans, and it's hard to win people back once you piss people off. If people come and have a bad experience, and there was bad experiences as well, there was quite a few. There's one you couldn't get in. Do you remember? The queues were that long, you couldn't even get in. I don't know. I think that was around the time when they were searching everybody, and then people don't like getting searched. Some people have just don't like people touching them, and it's not a nice experience. It didn't bother me, but for some people, they don't like it and they don't look forward to it, and so. Those people they lost. They were taking drinks. Remember, they were taking little drinks off kids. You know what I mean? You couldn't bring a flask in. You couldn't bring a bag of a certain size in. You remember all these rules that came in? And I just pissed how many people will that have pissed off? Who and they don't know now that, you can bring it. They don't seem to bother what bag you bring in. And, it's all changed, but they made all these silly, stupid, ridiculous things that made the experience the worst experience you could possibly have. And then you get Julian Winter, in his summer speech about the ticket prices, when they put the ticket prices up for kids, and what he said was, when they asked him about the cost of living crisis, in Blackpool, it's a poor place, and he didn't acknowledge. He just said, "Well, we've got to pay our bills, and we've got the electric, and we're now paying the national minimum wage has gone up and all this." And that's your problem, pal. You know what I mean? It's your job to do something that gets bums on seats so you make loads of money, get sponsorship in so you make lots of money, get the club up out of League One into the Championship so we make more money, get the club up into the Premier League so we make even more money, and then the cost of living crisis and the blooming national minimum wage doesn't matter. But instead he just thought the only thing he could think of was, I tell you what, we'll put the prices up for like 18-year-olds and kids and families. People just think, no, I'm not going, you know. And then the football was rubbish. He starts calling the football a product and all this garbage. And just, yeah. And then they wonder why there's 8,000 there last night. And it's because of that. It's because of the way they treat people. And yeah, they've remedied it a bit, but like, it's too late, you know. And then they don't ring me up and say, hey, Lee, you know, why don't you fancy telling people about what a fantastic experience it is now to come into the ground, you know, how easy it is, how the stewarding's nice, they don't search you anymore. I could do all sorts of things to make people know it's a better experience, but why should I bother? Gary Crenshaw says, hello, pal. Hello, Gary with a double R. Are you okay? You'll not be happy about your manager going to Derby, I would imagine. Seems a very strange one. The Venkies again, upsetting people. Conor Owen, just do not understand how Bruce seen Ennis, Beasley and Fletcher as a strike force and said, yeah, that's fine. He can't possibly, can he? Unless they were all just seen this Bloxham and thought, yeah, this kid is like a wonder kid and he is gonna make us go to the table, but you can't just bank on one player because players get injured and they get injured all the time for Blackpool, don't they? It was amazing how like Jerry Yates never got injured, did he? I think he just one injury he had one time, a little bit of an injury, but it was soon back. But certain players never get injuries, do they? Yeah, you were regretting your choice to go, yeah. I know, yeah, 5 minutes into the game, yeah, you're thinking this is not looking good, are you? I mean, it truly was. The writing was on the wall, wasn't it, within 5 minutes of the game? Blackpool just looked like pedestrian, didn't they? I mean, we did create lots of chances, but we didn't look like a team that was really going to stamp our authority all over Rotherham. And then whenever we did try and stamp our authority on us, they just have this ability of just touch them like a feather and they go down screaming, making loads of noise and appealing to the referee, and they get the game stopped. And even in the second half, when the goalie just went down just like outside his box, for what reason? You know, normally I always say, you know, when a player goes down like injured, when there's nobody around him, it's normally pretty serious, isn't it? You know, because players just don't normally go down. It's when they've twisted the knee or something's just happened off the ball and you see him get stretched off, don't you? But you knew that keeper was never going to get stretched off. You knew that was just pure and utter time wasted and messing about to throw us off our game. W&G fans here, hi. The FA Cup match was more exciting than this. Yeah, it was very unexciting, but I did say earlier in the stream that, you know you're playing Rotherham and it's bloody awful. Steve, you know, I just can't stand Steve Evans. I just honestly, I can't stand his football, and I've never enjoyed any game I've ever played against the Steve Evans team because it's always the same. They ruin the game. The game is not just ruined by us; it's ruined by Rotherham. Not particularly by Rotherham. I'm not even. If there's any Rotherham fans, I'm not like criticising Rotherham. It's just the way that Steve Evans has got Rotherham playing. It's like everything to stop. It's like he plays a game to actually stop football happening as much as he can and to sort of get advantages all the time over on the pitch through like cheating. You know, they're appealing for everything that isn't happening. You know, you're watching, you're thinking, what's he screaming about there? You know, how can that be a throw into them when it's a throw into us? How's that a free kick to Rotherham and not to us? And it's just the way they do it all the time. They're very clever at just winning free kicks, winning things like that. They just throw it out. It's hard to counteract it, and I hate watching it. Yeah, even the EFL Trophy match was more exciting than this. Well, it's funny with the tickets because the actual season ticket itself hasn't gone up very much from the year before. Really, it's the kids that they decided to slap it on, which doesn't make any it doesn't make any sense, does it, at all? You know, like if you put the prices on kids' ticket, that's like a family ticket, and any kids going will be going out. You know, they'll be going obviously with the dad, or they'll be going with the mum, or you know, most likely the mum, the dad, if they've got any siblings, you know, brothers, sisters going. It's a family ticket, isn't it? And when people haven't got a lot of money to have to spend all that extra money on a family to take your kids with you, it was a big mistake. And the kids, you know, are the future. And the trouble is, once you do something like they did in the summer and upset so many people, it's very hard to kind of wind it back and, you know, start giving free tickets away, because nobody wants to go. There's not the enthusiasm. It's like the kids don't want to go because the kids are not like talking about it in school like they were. I mean, one of the reasons why I started interviewing the children, you know, getting the kids on and getting their views is because they would go to school and they would be telling their friends that they were on YouTube. You know, I was on Lee Charles TV, and they're all looking for themselves on the videos, you know, and you'd be like a badge of honour to go into school. Literally, I'm not making this up. This is true. Kids have told me, you know, they're so excited about being on the video, and the parents have told me, you know, they said he wants to be on because all his classmates want to be on, and if he can get on, you know, and they're saying that to me. The parents were saying that to me, and I'm thinking, yeah, let's get them on. They're the future. These are the kids that will be the, you know, the teenagers will be the grown-ups, will be the mums and dads of the future. All these kids get older, you know, and, you know, I won't be here forever, you know, unless they come out with a miracle pill, but you know, one day I'll be gone like everybody else. And all us, you know, all the mums and dads of today and granddads will all be gone in the end, and all these kids are the future. And I thought with Lee Charles TV, I'll get as many on as I can, but you know, I went to the family fun day, and they were over at me straight away. Are you filming kids? Are you doing anything kids? And you know, that's it. I didn't put the video on. I had some lovely interviews with some kids who just only told me who the favourite player was. The dad even introduced, you know, I said to them, you know, introduce some dad, so they can't say I'm like bothering kids, you know, I'm not getting kids on who the parents don't want them on. And they were so excited to be on, and that video's never gone out, so they'll have been disappointed, won't they? And, you know, the whole thing's just so negative. Blue Terrier says Blackpool have the right manager in charge. I do believe we have, but he's fighting with his hands tied behind his back. And it feels, Blue Terrier, honestly, we have suffered as Blackpool fans under the Oystons for 30 years with them. And they never, ever, really ever showed ambition. They did it once or twice. It didn't come off one time, you know, they did used to get better players than this lot seemed to get. You know, they did somehow used to, you know, get good players, but they never, like, the Oysters never pushed the boat out. Very rarely. And I don't know how we got in the Premier League. We just had a wonderful 10 years where something magical happened at Blackpool. But apart from, and I always felt that was like in spite of the Oystons, not because of the Oystons, but in spite of him. Maybe when Bellicon came in, and that all happened when Bellicon came in because he showed ambition. Bellicon had ambition from the minute he came in the club. He went on TV, he said, I'm going to get you in the Premier League in 5 years. And he did it in 4 years because that was his ambition. He set off with that promise that he was going to get us in the Premier League. And it's like when you sit down and you say, I'm going to get you somewhere in front of, you know, thousands of people watch you say that, you've kind of under the pressure to actually deliver that. And he did. Our lot, it's as if there's as much ambition as the Oystons. And it's just the same thing we've been hearing from the Oystons for years and years and donkey years. There's going to be a new training ground. There's going to be, a new facility down on Windyke Farm. There's going to be, we're going to be building the new training ground out on the Ballan Road towards Lytham, and all this sort of promise, and you know, Carl Oyston with his South Stand pre-lets and all the rest of it, and it's just, it doesn't feel any different. It feels like we've just, he's not an oyster, not at all, but I feel like we've just got a guy in that just doesn't have the ambition, or he doesn't have the money, or if he hasn't got the money, I wish he would get somebody in who does have the money, or I wish he'd sell it and we just get somebody in. I think every Blackpool fan, we all know, everybody in football knows that it's all about money. Football is all about money. And if you don't play the game, you're never going to get anywhere unless you're really, really freaky and lucky like Blackpool were, and we blew it when we had the chance, but because of the Oysons. But you've got to have an owner that's got so much money, it's ridiculous. I look with envy at Nottingham Forest all the time. I spent a lot of time talking to Dor, on tour. We had him in the Footballers Vloggers podcast, and I'd met him early on, and he became, a good friend of mine, and also Nottingham Forest Fan TV. They also became friends of mine. And I just look with so much jealousy at them because they got the owner that's, he's a shipping magnate, he's worth bloody billions, and he's pumping it in, and look where they are. Look where Forest are now. And it's only a few years ago where we were in the same league as them, giving them a right good game, and it's all because of ambition, and I've said it before, Bournemouth, they're smaller than us, aren't they? The ground holds about 11,000 and 10,000. It's a little ground, and they just push the money in to get themselves in the Premier League, and they've stayed in there, haven't they? And how much money must they have now, Bournemouth? And they're no bigger than us, and so many teams that just have ambition. And I just wish that we could have got another Bellicon in, somebody with that sort of, that ambition. I just don't think Simon Sadler has it, or he hasn't got the money to do it that he needs to do to pump in. It's all right saying he pumps 5 million in, but you might as well pump 5p in, really, because it doesn't do anything. 5 million doesn't do it. You have to put 50 million in every year. Look how much bloody Birmingham are putting in. Do you know what I mean? To get out of it. Look where they are. Do you know what I mean? Look where they are, Birmingham. Because how much money have they spent? I know you don't have to spend as much money as Birmingham, but you've got to have some bloody ambition, haven't you? We've signed one player in January, Bloxham, for 300,000. The rest are all loans again, aren't they? It's just loan. I know you've got to pay wages, but just find some players that are playing on top of the game in January. There's got to be lower league players that are playing out of their jacket, and that's the time. That's the time, isn't it? Somebody playing in the National League North who's, I don't know because I don't follow it, but there's got to be somebody in there that's banged about 10, 15 goals in, on fire. If Blackpool come in for him, he'd jump at the chance. But instead, we just go down the loan road again, and it's just so frustrating. Conor Ryan doesn't understand what happens on the training pitch. No, well, it does make you wonder, doesn't it, when you're watching, the same things over and over and over again, week in, week out. You're thinking, what are they not seeing? I mean, what does Steve Bruce come away in that game, after watching that game, what does he come away and think to himself, what do we need to work on, lads? What do we need to work on the training ground for Saturday? We need to get Rob Apter, and we need to keep him 2 hours after training, and we need to train him how to look up and how to put a ball to a Blackpool player in the box. And we need to drill him. We need to get a drill with some defenders in, maybe have 5 defenders in, 2 attackers in, and Rob Apter's got to find him. He's got to find him, and we play for 2 hours extra every night until he can find a Blackpool player in that mix, and he can look at it and he can see, right. And the players, you say to him, right, okay, you know that like Beasley and Fletcher are going to be on. So Fletcher, where are you going to go? Rob's coming down the right. Where are you going to be in the box? So he kind of knows where you're going to be. He knows where you're going to be. Are you going to stand on the edge of the box? Are you going to go in the box? Is Beasley going to go to the far post? If you go near post, whatever it is. But there's got to be a way where we get Rob Apter to at least find a man like once or twice in a game, you know what I mean? So that's something you work on, innit? You know, you'd work on maybe changing the way we set up at corners, you know, and let's leave a man up on the halfway line. Leave Rob Apter. Just imagine leaving Rob Apter up on the halfway line. They couldn't leave him, could they? There's no way they could leave Rob Apter on his own. Long ball, it'd skin him all day long. Just stay in our half, so you can't be offside. Just in our half. Long ball out, just hit it long, and Rob Apter will get there. Or even, you know, CJ, maybe if he was up, or another one of our, you know, quick players, just have him there ready to chase a ball and give that defence hell. But no, we keep all men back. And also just practice like passing to, you know, heading the ball out of defence to a Blackpool shirt, not to the opposition. Those are things that I will be working on anyway. Who's going to be your next manager at Blackburn Rovers? I have no idea on that one. I couldn't tell you. I only watch Blackpool, so I wouldn't know any other managers. The kids are the people we need going, the next generation of supporters, exactly, which is what I thought. If we keep raising prices, we won't have supporters of the next generation. No, we won't. And you've got to get the kids in going, you know, like I did with mum and dad. You know, they took me and, you know, I used to say, ruin my life to be a Seasider, but that's what you need. You need the kids going in, and that's I don't even bother interviewing them anymore, really. You know, because there's so much hassle, so I don't bother. So, and there's not that many around anyway. You know, they're not around anymore like they used to be. There was like kids everywhere at one time. You know, you could find them dead easy, and they were always good for a blooming, you know, a score prediction, aren't they? If nothing else, you know, I don't even get score predictions anymore because it's only, you know. I know they're easy wins, but they are easy. You know, when you're going around asking people to be on a video, you know, I could walk around the south stand and the south paddock, you know, I could stand by the nets and try and get people to come and talk to me on camera. And most adults don't really want to do it. You know what I mean? They don't want to be on camera. You know, they're nervous about it. It's a nerve-wracking thing. Kids, dead easy, you know. they come up to you, can we be on? You know what I mean? You don't get any adults coming. I don't get any adults coming up to me going, can I be on? can I be on the video? I'd love it if people did. I'll tell you, I'd say this now. I would stand every home game. I'd go down to the front. I'd stand just in front of the goals. And if you want to come up and talk to me at half time, come up and talk to me. You come and find me, because honestly, I wander around sometimes trying to catch somebody's eye, trying to get. And I like the interviews, you know. And with Jane not doing a fanzine, it was always good when she did a fanzine, because people would come and like buy the fanzine, and then they'd get a bit of a queue, and then people come and talk to me, and then I'd get them on the video. But I can't get people on the video now without Jane doing the fanzine. I just honestly, I don't get those interviews anymore that I used to get. Not at all. It's an absolute nightmare, me trying to get interviews. If Blackpool don't start showing ambition, then another club might welcome him for Steve Bruce, and we know what his reputation is like for club hopping. Yes, we do, and I wouldn't blame him at all at the moment for being pretty unhappy with the transfer window, especially with losing his best striker at the time and not replacing him. Yeah, I agree. I agree. He either needs to sell it or he needs to get a backer in. He needs to find a Valerie Bellicon, doesn't he? Somebody who wants to come in and help him. You know, he can concentrate on doing the East Stand and doing the training ground. Somebody else can come in and concentrate, or somebody else can come in and do the East Stand like Bellicon did the South Stand, do the East and do the training ground. He can concentrate on actually building a football team of good players who we sign, not just loan. Happy is here. Hello, Happy. Hi, Lee. Stood there on the North Stand last night, and as well as being frozen stiff, I was bored stiff. Football was dire, and if we're all being honest, 50% of that team are not good enough. Yeah, kind of agree with you, but, you know, when you look at the stats, I've said it before, we had 17 shots. So you can't say that, you know, compared to what we're watching under Critch, where we had one shot or 0 shots in some games. It should have been entertaining. The problem was, although we had all them shots, we never actually looked like scoring, because we haven't got strikers in form. We haven't kept strikers in form, and we haven't brought in, even on loan, strikers on form, have we? You know, Niall Ennis is not a striker in a rich vein of form. We've got him on loan, but really he was, you know, really pointless. And if you're going to bring him on, I've said it before, but keep one of Beasley or Fletcher on. Keep Fletcher on or keep Beasley on. So we've got a big man to knock the ball down to Ennis. Why take them both off? That annoyed me last night. I've got to bring Bellicon back. Yeah, that's somebody like him, innit? Somebody like Bellicon. Right. Conor Ryan said, yeah, we never ever get somebody. Well, we do. We do. If you think they don't always work out. Sonny Carey come from Kings Lynn, which was I don't know how we got Sonny Carey, but anyway, he did come from. But what we don't get from National League or the lower divisions is players that are absolutely on fire. You can steal. You can get players from a lower division because normally you can. Unless they're like Brannigan from Oxford, which we couldn't mess us about. We were in a higher division, but now they are in a higher division than us. But at that time, we should have got him really. He should have made the step up to the Championship at that time, but he didn't for whatever reason. But anybody in like non-league who was, there's got to be some teams in. I don't follow it. Somebody could tell me, but I'm sure there's some teams at the top of that division, just in the conference, who are on fire at the moment and are scoring lots of goals. And if they're scoring lots of goals, then they'll have some players in that team that are on fire. Could be a winger that's playing out of his jacket. Could be both strikers. Could be a midfielder that's really attacking and creating lots of stuff. But they are the teams that will have players in their team that at this moment in time are on fire. Not experiencing what Niall Ennis and Sammy Silvera have been experiencing, which has been the crowds on the back and people booing them and all the rest of it, and the team's not playing well. And they both come to us from teams that are struggling. Both of those players have come to Blackpool from teams that are struggling. Probably a bad situation there. They're not. They won't be in the sort of the right mind, in the right mindset. They won't be happy players come in, and we've signed them hoping that they're going to come to Blackpool and they're going to turn into some sort of world beaters. And that won't be that is not the case. I'd much rather have signed someone from a lot and sign them. Maybe not put them on a 3+1. Maybe just go for a 2-year deal or something, but they won't be demanding massive wages either, will they? If they're coming from National League, they won't be on bloody fortunes. They won't be wanting thousands and thousands. So they're worth a gamble, especially if they're on fire. Jimmy Nopri, hi, says, how's Elkan Baggett doing? Well, he's been injured for most of the season, but he's back in now and he's bloody brilliant. He's really, really good. I like him a lot, but unfortunately, Blackburn Rovers injured him. He's only just come back in for about the last 3 or 4 games, so he's not played a lot, but it's a shame because he's a really good defender. Doing G-Fans says, it's a shame that the older generation is trying to shut down opportunities for newer generations. Isn't it just? And they're the ones you need. They're the future. I tried with Lee Charles TV to get the kids excited about it and get them on the videos and get them talking, get them going back to school and saying, I was on Lee Charles TV, I was on YouTube, I was on TV. You know what I mean? I thought it was genius, but the club think, no. Can't be doing that. As I said last stream, it all settles on Mansfield beating them to get a healthy home record working again. Yeah, maybe. Is that what we need? It all settles on Mansfield beating them to get a... Do you mean us beating them or them beating us? Do you mean they need to knock us out of this bloody draw and make us more determined to win? Or do you mean we just need to be... We should have beat Rotherham last night, really, to be honest. I was thinking... I did film a section and I didn't even bother putting it in because obviously after the event I'm not putting this bit in, but I did talk about, and it's what I'd said to Jane at the time, that when we played Burton Albion, we were playing them at the wrong time. If we'd have played them at New Year's Eve on New Year's Day this time, before they got that striker in that was in form and before Gary Bowyer, the effect, we would have beaten Burton Albion. But we end up playing Burton Albion when he's turned them around, strikers on form, they're playing with confidence, and we go to Burton Albion. It's a tough game. But then I thought on the other side, the Rotherham game is the other way around, isn't it? Rotherham are not doing so good. They're not really on form. This was a chance. This was a good time to play Rotherham, and yet we still couldn't beat them. So anyway, that's me. I've moaned. I'm not moaning anymore. We need to beat them. Well, maybe they will, because I'm not there. I'm not there on Saturday, so that might bring the luck. WG fan said we sit at 22nd on home record, but we could jump up to 15th if we win this weekend. Well, that would be, if, and if is a very big word. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I agree. It's become like a mental block where they just can't do it, can they? They just, for some odd reason, cannot win at home, and it's a confidence thing. Whether it's just, I still think it's got a lot down. It has a lot to do with the other team stopping us playing, and Rotherham were just brilliant at that last night. They were good at like, whenever we got into a rhythm, they'd knock us out of the rhythm by going down and trainer on, or something that was never ever a foul, but they're down, and and all that sort of stuff, all that shithousery as they call it. But it's just it's so good. You can almost not tell they're doing it. It's so clever how they do it, but they do disrupt the game all the time, and that made it a bad game. Rotherham make it a bad game. Steve Evans makes it a bad game. Anyway, that's it. I've said enough. Thanks a lot for coming. I'm going to go and get my tea. I can hear James making it, so I'm going to go and get my tea. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't like doing moaning videos. Maybe I'll be back on Sunday, and I'll have watched Tangerine TV on Sunday afternoon. I'll watch the game. I'll have something positive to say. So until Sunday, take care. And if you are just watching, if you're watching this now, do post in the comments below, and I will reply to you as well. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot.